I got every workout from 1983 until 1997. Every single workout, every rep, every set. Preparation notes for Mr. Olympia and all these things. This worked, this didn't work. So very analytical, writing everything, analyzing, studying.
His training diary was his life, and that was him. He knew if he followed X, it would equal Y, and that's what's been proven.
He totally believed what he was doing was right. He had no doubts. That's half the battle. If you believe in something, you can make it happen.
Blood and guts is just to the level where no one's willing to go. I mean, that's what it's about. Turn the body inside out, no matter what it takes. He wasn't going to stop. He was a train.
I'm not a morning person.
Dedicated to being passionate about it.
Bodybuilders have become more lazy.
People have always thought I lift fake weights. Iran and the United States.
You take responsibility for that.
What about women's bodybuilding? What are your thoughts on women's bodybuilding? And I heard it's making a comeback. You know, they banned it for a little bit. For a few years, it was non-existent. Now it's coming back. How do you feel about women's bodybuilding? And were you a fan of watching women's bodybuilding?
Yes, you know, the Miss Olympia used to be a standalone show by itself. I used to go every year. It used to be mind-blowing. And in 2000, I don't remember the year. I need to try to remember it, but I want to say it was whatever the year was when Linda and Iris went head-to-head that last year, and then Linda retired after that. And when you just being a fan of the sport, and I had been there way before that, and I saw what was happening. And I was a fan. I still am a fan of both of them, big time. But I knew that they were both like giants, both great. But it was like two sides of a coin as far as where the women's bodybuilding was going to go. I said, if they pick Linda, then it will keep on flourishing. If they pick, wow, I lost him. Iris. If they pick Iris, then the women can't compete with Iris. You know what I'm saying? So, like, in other words, these girls are going to crash and burn trying to compete with Iris. Kind of like everybody did trying to beat Dorian and Ronnie. It's the same thing. So I saw the same thing happening. And that's what, I mean, the same thing happened to men's bodybuilding. It just wasn't as severe because it was just Iris and then everybody else, which they were all good. But, you know, it was just clear cut. You know, Iris got 10. She would have had 12. She'd have 14 by now if they had kept on going. But in the men's, you know, there was other guys on the up and coming. So when Ronnie got to the point where he couldn't sustain it, then Jay jumped in and then Phil jumped in. So that's what kept it going. But the freak show doesn't sell as many tickets. If you ever, when you go to the, I used to say this all the time, when you go to the carnival and you see the freak show, you know what I'm saying? You want to pay the money and go behind the curtain and see the freak, but you don't want to be the freak. The sport used to be where everybody wanted to be their bodybuilding hero. And so when you get that disconnect between the athletes and the fans, then that's when it starts getting watered down. It starts getting diluted, like I was mentioning earlier, as far as a commodity. You're no longer a commodity. Now, keyboard, you know, whatever, they feel like they can get on the thing and talk to the Mr. Olympia or Miss Olympia or whatever. And it's because everything is so diluted. And people don't have the same admiration, but it's also not the same product either.
Now, you mentioned to me that after our last interview in 2016, which I thought was great, when you wanted to make some adjustments in judging, you know, people kind of took it the wrong way and you know, in some ways turned away from you. But now you're saying that actually judging improved, right? You feel like it improved and now you feel content with it. Well,
you know, in almost every sport, there's like a playoff type situation. So in other words, it starts with, you know, Sweet 16 starts with 16 teams, and it gets more exciting as you get down to first to one. In our sport, for a long time, we started calling out number 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. And so why should I stay? Well, I already know who's going to win now. You know what I'm saying? So we just, you know, it's just a lot of things that I would have liked to, and which I am seeing now. So, you know, like I noticed now they actually do that. It is the last man standing now. It is they're really comparing everyone. You don't have to just be standing next to somebody numerically to get the call out of the comparison. They do the 5 or 6, and then they, you know, bring some more guys to see if they deserve to be in the 5 or 6. It's very exciting. You can tell that they're actually working. You can tell that they're trying to come up with the best result for whatever reason, whether it was I won't say bitching, but my whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just happy to see it. And I was watching Bob Ciccarello and Jake Wood do an interview the other day, and Bob even admitted, you know, bodybuilding was kind of like in a stale place for like 10 or 12 years. And it's because we were being too repetitive. We were giving the audience the same product every year. Anytime that someone who doesn't have the resources, the marketability, the exposure as the champ looks better than the champ, even if it's just for the day, that's the opportunity as a sport, as a promoter, as a judging panel to change the game, to throw that gasoline on the fire and make the whole sport more interesting. When Gunther beat Ronnie, we got a super version of Ronnie the next time we saw him. When Dexter beat Jay, we got a super version of Jay the next time we saw him. So I'm like, I don't know, you know, that's how it should be. I mean, hey, that's how it should be. And I can only imagine what Sean would have looked like if he could have got to defend his title. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
man, it's just, so that's what I'm saying. I think they're in a good position now to really accelerate the sport. They changed the venue, thank goodness. The replay, I mean, not the replay, but the internet, you know, all that's on point now. So, I mean, the next 4 or 5 years, I mean, if the whole country don't implode, I think we should be good.